Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about Sony's A7R6. So let's dive deep into it. So this puppy is a flagship camera, meaning don't ask about the price. This puppy is $4,500 and it's gonna be more than 5 lakh rupees when it comes to India, if not more. Now be mindful, this is a different kind of beast, so to say. It's specifically focused on resolution. It's not trying to be the fastest, they have different camera for that. It's not trying to be best of everything, that's a different camera. This is resolution only. So basically A1 is the everything beast, A9 is specifically for action, this puppy is for resolution. So this time they went to 66 megapixel. Now like, wait a minute, isn't the previous version 61 megapixel? Yes, the megapixel is not the deal. The deal is this is a completely new stack. So the sensor is now fully stacked now, meaning they spun everything for the modern technology, and that's how they got that bump, 66 megapixel. And that is a big deal, not because this is the fastest sensor. They themselves have A9 Mark III. Nothing can beat it, like flat out. You can beat it in dynamic range or this or that, ISO performance and all that. You can't beat it in speed, that's like 0 millisecond. So this is good and great if you are directly comparing to 66 megapixel equipments. So that's there. And why this is so capable? Simply because the SoC has been upgraded. Like how cameras have two core parts, sensor and SoC. SoC's company generally make one and they keep milking it for like 4 or 5 years, how many models they release, and then they update it. Sony just did their update with Bionics XR2, my camera's SoC. A7 Mark V became the first Sony's lineup that has this SoC. So brand new SoC with a brand new sensor equals more performance. So this time with 66 megapixel, you can do burst rate of 30 FPS, and that's full raw. It's not a compromised burst rate or something like that, and has a buffer depth of 150, which I'm pretty sure they could have done more, but I'm pretty sure RAM crisis would have affected them. Yes, somebody has actually opened this SoC and it's like there's giant RAM chips. So I'm pretty sure they might have wanted to do more. They're like, yeah, let's just be happy at 150. Because that number is way too close to A7 Mark V. And I'm like, does not sound right. Flat out does not sound right. So that's there. And it does have pre-capture, which mind you, Canon has been doing pre-capture for surprisingly long, for surprisingly low cost. So now I'm thinking, since Sony has this new SoC, they will start to make it common in all their lineup from now onwards. A7 Mark V has that. This new release, basically A7R6 has that, and all will have that. In previous SoC, only flagship got it. Oh, and you can see, because this is intended as a like modeling photography, many times they do what we call tethered photography, meaning photo camera is on top of a sturdy tripod, giant cable connecting to something, and model is doing hulululu wherever they want to do anything. So you want a stable connection. How do you get a stable connection? USB-C, cool, but it's not locking. They have a threaded screw. This exact same structure is in my camera, but they do not have that locking hole. I'm like, a tapped hole should not be that expensive. But again, this is more like, differentiation is like in Pro series, you can buy that now. Does that make sense? Yes. If your livelihood is depending on that cable not kaputting randomly, that shut up, take money, and you will spend that kind of money. So it has that A7R6. Now core is just a faster readout. You will not see like, whoa, difference going from R5 to R6 in terms of resolution, the figure, because the resolution used to have a massive jump going from, let's say, 12 megapixel to 24, but now we are at the top end of S curve. At this sort of sensor size, we are not gonna get much more. Like, we reach that. Like, you have to physically increase the sensor size, like how Fujifilm does that with GFX, how IMAX Digital does that with a giant sensor. You have to increase the sensor size. Otherwise, the megapixels have reached a point where it's like, you can do it, it's just not gonna shine. So imagine the same camera, but faster. How much faster? If Sony is your reference, this is lightning fast. That's why everybody is excited. Basically, you're going from 100 milliseconds top to bottom to 19.5. That's shut up, take money. That's flat out. If you were had any of last R series camera, this camera will look like lightning fast. You can move and still have a photo with a rolling shutter effect would be like subtle. In older ones, it's like, ooh. So That is shut up, take money. For people who are like, hey, I love the R series, I just hate the rolling shutter. It's like, bro, I got you, fam. That's the biggest jump here. Now it can finally do 4K 60 uncropped, which again, new SoC can do that. 120 uncropped, little bit of crop, it's almost uncropped, which I'm pretty sure A7 Mark 5 can do, but they have disabled it. So that is also there. It will do 8K 30 FPS with mild crop. Rolling shutter at that sort of system is 15 millisecond. It's almost same. It will feel exactly the same as A7 Mark 5. Now, like, isn't that reading twice the sensor? Yes, it's doing far more work, but the input flux is so high that even the SoC is like, okay, I can read it. The sensor is the slow part. Can't do much. So, meaning, can you do action movies with this? No. Can you do decent enough, like, mild work with it, walking, talking, and be happy with it? Yes. But don't compare it to A9 Mark III or A2 series, basically Alpha 1 series cameras, because again, those work very hard and they push up to 5 millisecond, not 15. So, and again, even some Canons have better than this, but not too much better. Like, this would be like, what the hell is this? Basically, any version before this. After this is like, okay, I can see that. Meaning, if you have, let's say, Canon 5D Mark series, latest one will be better, but not like, do not expect like whoa better. For that whoa better, you only have to go to A9 Mark III, because nothing beats it. Like, flat out, global shutter, the end, go home. So this is fundamentally better. Now they have a new system, dual gain video. That was the most underwhelming system I have ever seen. It's like, okay, the shadow is a bit cleaner. I'm like, you did basically half frame rate and that's all you got. Again, I work with sensors, so I do understand that, like, there are sensors who, especially for dash cam, that's how I know about those sensors. Even Sony themselves makes it. They generally give 2 data stream. Now, ideally, we want a sensor that can give feed to A to D at the same time. It's very difficult. Samsung has that technology, but they haven't implemented it well. So the idea is you take one frame that is low exposed, one that is high exposed, and merge it. What this looks like they are doing, take 2 of them, but merge it for ISO reduction. It's not looking worthy of, like, frame rate reduction, as in like it goes from 60 FPS to 30. So camera is recording as 60 FPS. They are just merging 2 frames. So the output was very tepid. It's like, really? Like, when you actually do this and you do this right, you are looking at dynamic range of 20 stops. Some security cameras, dash cam cameras can do that. Like, that's the whole point. But having that like mild thing, I'm like, that was very, very, like, you are halving the frame rate. You should be better. But I can get that. Like, some might say, like, doing that level of compression makes it artificial looking because everything is flat lined. But again, isn't that what we do with log files anyway? So that was underwhelming. The viewfinder has been upgraded, like actual hardware upgrade. They are like much brighter, and this puppy has DCI P3 color gamut coverage and 10-bit panel. So panel has gone some significant upgrade. Although I'm confused who will use it. Like, this supposed to be tethered, like you are putting a screw hole because that's how people use it, and you have a giant awesome viewfinder. I'm like, viewfinder like that makes sense in A9 Mark III because outdoor sunlight. Weird, but okay. And the biggest difference where people are like, no, this is genuinely good, is the autofocus. And not only the autofocus, basically auto selection of the autofocus. How? Well, that's the whole benefit of having a larger sensor. The SoC has so much more data galore. It's devouring data. At that point in time, it's like, oh, that's a bird, oh, that's an insect, oh, that's a human. So that is transferring. Even though the face point is same, because the sensor readout is so huge, it's like, I got this. That's the biggest wow factor. Readout speed, of course, if you were a person who are doing product photography, you would not care. If you were a person who doing model photography, you would not care. If you were a person doing a little bit of fast action, you can get by. But now you'll be like, yeah. If you're like, okay, I'm gonna do like, actions photography, yeah, no. Like, if you try to take anyone who is doing like, golf, your golf stick would be like, oing. But again, at 19, it will be like, oh. In 100, it will be complete C. So compared to what we had, this is fundamentally better. And compared to all other Sonys, you will notice, because the sensor is gorging on so much data, that it is actually flexing. It's like, hey, I have so much data, not only I can see the stuff, I can analyze the stuff. And I can tell you, this is a bird, this is a doggy, this is an insect, this is a train. So there you will have like, whoa, that's like a whoa difference. Now, what else changed actually? Like those things are just improvement. Let that be very clear. While everybody say, "Oh, this is a big deal," it's not. We have reached a good camera era long ago. Like after 2020, it's like, bro, we good, we got this. And again, even though when I'm saying like it has a bit better, it's not like you can't shoot with other cameras. Uh, the biggest change that is painful for many people is the battery change. They started with NPFZ100 battery that was introduced in 2017, and it was default battery for 22 plus models. That's a big deal. That was one of the favorite thing about Sony for me. It's like buy the camera, the end. So what battery? Sony battery. That was the most amazing part. It's like which battery you have? You have Sony battery. They will give you the same thing. Not like Canon where they had like at their peak they had 15 batteries. Not even joking. Not even joking. 15 batteries. So this was a big deal. But again, everything comes to an end. It's almost like, it was like DDR3 RAM. Now we have to go to DDR4. So same thing happened. Untouched compatibility now ends. And now we have NPSA100. Now, let that be clear. It does not have high energy, it has high power. What does that mean? That simply means the watt hour tank capacity is not that much greater. But what capacity is? Why? Well, they are expecting more oomph from other accessories and SoC. Even though SoC is far more efficient, they must be planning to add some more heavy loads in the future. So that's why the timing, basically how much oomph you can get, how many shots you can get out of this is not changing. However, one of the biggest changes because of the chemistry change and new sensor that is going inside the cells, now they have what we call health tracking, as in degradation tracking. Not only it can tell you the status of charge, that's why the new charger cradle has a battery health. It will tell you how healthy the battery is, meaning if somebody has use their battery. Like in my case, my battery I don't think will have ever any wear and tear, like physical wear and tear, simply because I charge it in the camera. So your physical battery would look pristine, but hey, still, what if I'm using it every day? It will go through cycling, charging and discharging, charging and discharging. Over time it will degrade, duh. But how would you know? This is like, I will tell you, like this has a counter IC. Basically that's the upgrade part. So upgrade was done for three primary reasons. First, little bit of power. Second, little bit of capacity. Third, little bit of peace of mind. But again, now all the manufacturers have to work their ass off to make again third-party batteries. And that was the biggest benefit of having 9 years of market dominance. It's like Z100 has like quality clones, not just like clone batteries, quality clone batteries, meaning you can buy it, put it in a camera and trust it. So that will go away. But it's like, okay. It was to be expected. I did not expect them to use the same battery forever, but era has come to an end. And biggest thing that I always wanted, cameras to finally digest 32-bit audio. Panasonic did that, Sony does that, and both of them are smoking the same cocaine. It's like, you require to buy $800 mic adapter for this. Why? They don't even have okay, let's just say they have two USB-C port. You do not want to use any one of them for audio. Fine. Why don't you release something like this, like DJI mic hot shoe, where you just plunk your USB output audio and it goes into the camera? You could sell that. And having directly USB digestible audio has the benefit that it will work with all recorders. And this price is stupid. Like, to give you a context, Tascam, again 32-bit, 6 channel. This puppy is 4. That is 6 with a giant ass screen with battery power. That is $340. They're saying, oh, you can use it as a standalone USB audio. I'm like, that's a portable USB and standalone and camera extendable. So it does not make sense. I really hate this sort of product decision. Even for Panasonic, even for Sony, it's like, why? We want a 32-bit audio because again, that's a big jump. 16 to 24 is not a jump. 24 to 32, once you have dual A to D, the end. You do not have to set gain for your mic. Again, you may want to set gain in the post so it hears clearly, but the data would be recorded. No more clipping. So that's shut up, take money. But this sort of price, it's just stupid. XLR A4. Now, thankfully, I was thinking that this may be what you call SoC upgrade. The SoC has that because they did not change the hot shoe mount. So how the heck this new camera can support it? They can't. Every camera can support it. And A7 Mark V. today morning when I'm recording this video, today morning itself got an update. Now it supports this, meaning I can now, if I have stupid amount of money, buy this recorder and directly have microphones going into this. This will send 32-bit file audio directly to the video file, 4 of them, 4 channels, so to say. I would still wish for, and again, I'm very happy with the Sony. One of my primary reasons for buying Sony, because again, I do this every day, 2 video per day. I had to have a scenario where audio setup was much less, what you call, friction prone. Having this where I do not ever have to worry about the charge status of that, communication of that, like I don't have to worry about those things. That makes my life easier. Imagine something like that from Sony. Now all microphones that have or USB audio output works. It's like that really irks me. It's like you're so close, and you even have 2 USB-C jacks. You can do it. You can have one for charging, one for audio. People would be happy. But no, you have to create this BS of $800. So question becomes, for whom this puppy is? Well, it's if you're making a lot of money, and I mean bonkers amount of money, because this camera does require quality glass, not only for FPS reason, because again, if you have a third-party glass, it will be limited to 15 FPS. You do need a glass that has very good MTF, as in mean transfer function, meaning it should transfer the resolution, and that's the critical aspect. Lens have a fundamental limitation. That's why telescopes are never made out of glass. They are always made out of mirrors. You do not want to go through. Light does not like to go through things. It will always get distorted if you do that. And if you want to send through it, make it as big as possible, so you're not contorting the light. Going like this, cool. Light going like this, bad. You do not want to contort it. That's why bigger sensor is always better. That's why Fujifilm works on GFX. IMAX has a giant sensors, and even if you look at like old, and I mean like Panavision old kind of 70mm films, they look like great quality. Why? Do not contort light. So if you have something like this, don't expect to have like whoa resolution, like 33 to 66 won't be like 2x better. It won't be. You need a proof. Take a newspaper, put it like 10 meters away from whatever lens you have, take a photo in multiple resolutions, as in from multiple cameras. You'd be sorely disappointed. Again, that's not the limitation of the sensor, that's the limitation of the glass. That's why you generally do not want to have bonkers resolution in small sensors. Like that's why your mobile phone that has 200 megapixel still is BS. So your craft must justify this sort of expenditure. Model photography, wedding photography, product photography, landscape photography, and you have to have 2 criteria. First, you need the resolution, not just like, okay, because you are zooming in the photos. And second, you must have G Master glass. Again, that's the only guaranteed way of milking the most out of it. So very few people have that sort of flexibility in their work. Again, some do, but again, those people are way too closer to phase 1 cameras. And if you think Sony is expensive, phase 1 is like don't even try to compare. So fundamentally, and for most people, you will get majority of the benefit in A7 Mark V. Same sensor that is fast enough. Be mindful, both are fast, because while this is faster sensor digitally, it has larger resolution. So translation, it takes the photo at the same resolution, readout speed. A7 Mark V has the same readout speed. And even the audio thing, that new thing, it is supported now. So if you're one of those scenarios like, hey, I have enough money, I want to do podcasting and all that, it's like, hey, wouldn't it be great if I had like microphones directly feeding into camera without requiring external stuff? Shut up, take money. It is available. It's expensive, but it is available. So I was like frustrated by like when will camera companies just like give USB-C port audio in, and it's a standard driverless protocol system, meaning it will work no matter which model you have, as long as both parties are using USB. So for most people, hype is there, but you will not enjoy it as much as you might think, unless you are coming from old R series. If you're coming from old R series, then you are fed up with the slow speed, you'll be like, you're gonna be happy. If you're coming from Canon, you'll be like, that's it. Like, it's not like, whoa. And if you really need that, whoa, go into A9 Mark III. If speed is your point, if like, I need speed, I want to do sports photography with speed that does not have to worry about discussion, the end. A9 Mark III. Because A1, again, even more expensive camera, but it does have readout that is like, 8 millisecond. So very niche camera, so to say. So this was my presentation on basically this new announcement, A7R6 A7R6. Hopefully you have liked it, learn from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you've enjoyed it, please click the hype button. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I would urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.